Okay, well, I am going to put a disclaimer on this video because if you are offended by strong language, then I would just stop the video now, because you are far too immature to listen to adults speak, let alone understand the information being discussed, if you were going to be offended by a word. So yes, just move along to something that is more suitable to your sensitivities. To other people, I really want to express my disgust at the human species once again. And the reason that I do this is because I am giving a voice to those that have no voice, that have no power anymore under the domination of unconscious mankind. And because I do have information now and realise why they are being slaughtered like they are and why Mother Earth is being attacked and poisoned like she is, I feel that I have a duty and a responsibility to fight against the evil that wishes her destruction and wishes the destruction of all living things and anything divine on our planet. And so I really think that until more souls start understanding their responsibility for this information, until that understanding actually is something that they are expressing, we will continue to be just flowing along with the collective and not really having much influence on the hive mind with the truth. And I do thank Christian for actually doing a wonderful video with this information. He has just taken the information and expressed it in his own way with some music in a video, and I will put that video underneath. But basically, that's really what it takes as a soul to try and get the information out about creation is being destroyed, the divinity within mankind is being hidden and destroyed, while mankind is ignorant to their divinity, ignorant to a divine man within mankind, and ignorant to their connection to creation and what that means to their soul and to their journey. They are completely ignorant. And so to those that don't want to remain ignorant and waken from their slumber and realise they have been played a fool of by Rome, a complete fool of. We all have. None of what we believe to be reality was true. They have just created a system for us to exist in, but it's under their law. And it's not natural law. And we are actually created to only exist under natural law, not Roman law. And therefore we are not existing in an authentic way, and it will not be sustained for a prolonged period of time. It will be experienced for some time in the cycle, but it won't be prolonged, and eventually it won't be supported, which is what is now happening, because the influence of the divine is returning once again to foundation, and people are starting to have an understanding for themselves again. Some that are awakening from their long slumber. Others, they just will not awaken. They will not understand the situation that we're in and what is happening. And without that understanding, then really we are ineffective. And so really all I can do, because we are ineffective, so many people are just not at a point of understanding, so few people are speaking truth, we just have to do the best we can in the situation that we find ourselves in and continue to speak out for the creatures and the innocent that can't, because it is, again, our responsibility, because we have managed to seek knowledge and find the philosopher's stone. And this all happened because this is part of the awakening of mankind. And at certain times of the cycle, mankind will start to awaken once again. And this is what we experienced around 2010, 2011, when a lot of people started gravitating to YouTube looking for answers of what was occurring in our environment that was no longer just a stable environment that we'd once known, that there were other factors happening that had to be accounted for that nobody was accounting for. And this is precisely why I went seeking information, was because nobody was accounting for anything. It all started with the BP oil disaster, and I went looking into that, and being the researcher I am, I went looking into all of that, and lo and behold, there was much fuckery afoot. And it was a big shock to my system, because I was not aware of 911 being an inside job, even though someone I knew said that from the very beginning, and I was horrified that they had said that, because I couldn't believe that anyone would be that evil. And, I was like, wow, you better not say that too loud, because, that's pretty full on to say about a country that they do to their own people. I mean, that was my reaction back then. I was so asleep. And then around 2010, when we had the oil disaster, I knew that that was something very significant. I felt it in my soul that that was something very significant. For the first time in my life, I actually did think that they had fucked Mother Earth like beyond repair. I really did feel that, and it worried me for a couple of days. I thought that she was just going to bleed out. Basically, that was kind of the feeling that I was having, that, oh my God, they've punctured her and, that's it. But that's when I started looking into it more, and then realising, yes, they have done something very significant out there, and it's still flowing out there. Don't for 1 minute think they capped that well. There's leaks everywhere. The whole floor, the whole sea floor is just leaking. They fucked it so much on purpose. And so they tried to poison that whole Gulf and have succeeded. And these poor animals have to swim in that. And then we have the audacity to call them the Great White Menace. But again, when you understand the information and you understand what the BP oil disaster was actually about, then you understand why they are attacking the wildlife, why they are attacking certain wildlife over other wildlife, because of what it symbolically represents. Go and have a look at all of the powerful animals in the symbolism, and then go and have a look at the state of their populations. And you'll start to see a correlation, because the Antichrist don't like the divinity within creation, and they don't like the symbols that equate to the divine man and the beasts that divine man also exists amongst on, terra firma. So people have to understand that they are actually seeking to create a actual feeling of fear around these animals. It's horrifying to know that people are still so unconscious. And we can still accept to do this to animals. We're not that yet intelligent enough to say, well, you know what? You're a grown man. If you want to fucking get out there and surf at dawn and dusk when it's, going to be feeding time for these guys, and you're in an area that they that's their habitat and that's their environment, then if you get eaten, you get eaten. And you just go out like a hero that's been eaten, a surfer that's been eaten by a shark. Wear it as a badge. Get a monument for yourself if you want. Get one organised. But don't dare blame the fucking wildlife like this piece of shit has. What I'm about to do this video about, this article. And this is why I went and actually looked into this. And it's about this surfer who's been attacked by a shark, a great white, and now we are told that it's the Great White Menace, and they're trying to actually create a environment in which there is fear surrounding this animal, and then because of that the public will tolerate the animal being culled, which is what's happening over in Western Australia. They're culling them, they're killing them. Our oceans are already so poisoned, they're just full of plastic, and the plastic's so broken down now that it's just microscopic in there, but it's there. There's plastic there. These poor animals are swimming in a toxic fucking soup out there of plastic. I mean, there's so much plastic out there, there's fucking islands of it now. Okay? We should be ashamed, we should be angry, we should all be doing rant videos, but we're not. I don't understand the mentality of mankind, the mentality of if we just do nothing, it will all change. It will just change. This peaceful revolution fucking bullshit. This sit on our hands and just be peaceful and not spread any negativity and I'm then doing my part. You are not doing your part. You are enabling the actual negative influences to continue by saying nothing. So it is not helping anything but your delusion in thinking that taking the higher spiritual path and saying nothing is where it's at for enlightenment and being someone who's spiritual. No, that's fake it till you make it. Okay? That doesn't work. That's what the information is showing. It doesn't work. And you see, when you come to my channel, you can't fake it because we found the Philosopher's Stone. Okay? So we know what we have. And until somebody debunks what I have found in the Philosopher's Stone, then really, I don't know why I should listen to anything you have to say. So, waiting, you know, but still silence, still nobody wants to acknowledge the Philosopher's Stone because it has to mean then people acknowledge of, you know, what the Philosopher's Stone means. And that's just too confronting for too many people. So we'll just pretend the Philosopher's Stone, doesn't exist. But for the others that actually want to use this information, because we have these psychopaths now in power because we're coming to the end of the cycle, and so it's good to know this information and what we're dealing with, because even though they haven't played out their fuckery completely, we can see they are playing it out. We can prove it with the number 8 and it being a 2015 year, and we can prove that all of the articles, the majority, we continue to post them into our groups and continue to observe them using this in their stories and articles in a ritualistic way with killings and false flags. It continues. And so this information is actually confirming itself against the Philosopher's Stone. Number 8 as well. So we know what we have. And if others don't know that, then that comes down to just them not having an understanding of what this is. And that just is an individual experience on a conscious level that each person has to actually, at their own time or not, come to an understanding of what this information means to them as a soul in this experience and with this knowledge and this understanding. Because once you actually find the Philosopher's Stone, it's actually a double-edged sword. So you can't actually just keep it to yourself and be selfish with it, because then the universe knows that you are too afraid to speak out because of what others will think, and therefore there are people in your environment that may not be finding truth or finding a path to this key or this Philosopher's Stone, and therefore you are not fulfilling your duty. See, this is the thing. When you actually look at the Philosopher's Stone and you unlock it, you take hold of the sword. You've actually accepted it. You've accepted the mission. So basically, if you do just not use that appropriately, then it's double-edged. It's a double-edged sword. So people have to understand that. This is the do you really want to know truth? You know, and even Jack Nicholson says, you don't, want truth. You can't handle the truth. And you can't. People can't handle the truth. I've seen it. I've experienced it. Even though the laws tell me what I'm seeing, which is all I'm saying, I can't help that the information that is there is what it is. But it seems that people instead would like to look at this information from a personal level and direct it at me rather than the information. And this is where they're quite foolish, because people think that, well, what's D got the Philosopher's Stone for? How come D. Smith found it? Why didn't somebody else find it out of all of these researchers? You know, one of the cool ones. Why did it have to be D, who swears? And, she was mean to me once in a comment. And because they have this personal feeling towards me, they dismiss the information. And that's just, their own foolishness. And this is what the universe wants anyway, because the universe really only wants people worthy of knowledge. And so if you are only going to look at this knowledge based on my words and not what the actual knowledge says, then knowledge says, well, you're not worthy of knowledge, So really, this is where it's the seeker that you have to look at this information yourself, that I've just got the codes and then you just look at that information from the codes. It's not about listening to me tell you what to believe. It's about just I'm saying this is what I'm finding with these codes and putting all the pieces back together. And then because I'm actually seeing and putting back these pieces, other people are seeing also the other pieces, and we're helping each other put them back together, because there's at least a group of 20 to 25 of us that probably have a pretty good grip of this information and quite an understanding. However, many are still at the hanged man, because unless you're speaking out for your creator and your divinity, you have not yet wielded that sword. You are still just holding the sword and swinging it around a bit, and yeah, it looks good, looks nice and shiny, isn't it, Gee, I feel really great, I've got this sword, I know all this stuff, all this knowledge I have that other people don't know, but yeah, that kind of speaking it out part feels a bit, hard, because that means I'm going to sound like a freak. I'm going to sound like a religitard. Because that's the program, that anyone that speaks about the Creator now, or God, sounds like a religitard. But that's just part of the test. That's why you're holding the sword. It's part of it. Are you worthy? Are you strong enough? Or does the, acceptance of the mindless flock really matter that much more to you? Because that's what it comes down to. People not wanting to accept this information for a reason, not because this information isn't truth, because it stands on its own. I'm still waiting for somebody to debunk the Philosopher's Stone and what it unlocked, and how I connected it to the tarot and the Kabbalah Tree of Life, and how I unlocked all the symbolism that associates with it. But nobody does. I just hear crickets, because people just hope that by dismissing this Philosopher's Stone and what it means, that it will just not count. But that's like saying, acknowledging that the sun rises doesn't count, because it's law. It's written in law. It's not going to change whether people believe it or not. So if people just don't want to accept the truth, it's because it's a threat to them. Otherwise, if you can come at this information from the absolute beginning as the Fool, number 0 on the Tarot Arcana, start at the beginning, blank canvas. Okay, what is these codes going to tell me with all the mythology of the ancients and the Hermetic sciences and sacred geometry and the other information associated with all of the esoteric, people just don't want to look at that and seek it for themselves. But if you do, you can actually go and seek the information because it's all based off these numbers. All of it. And all based off what this means in the creation of man and the creation of divine man. And so if you don't know these codes and what they mean, then really that's why you're not upset about what's happening here. With people like this, making stories about the shark, being a dickhead, making out the shark's evil. Okay, he doesn't say, no, I don't want the shark not hurt. He's an asshole. Complete asshole. Fuck you, mate. Fuck you. Okay, this creature deserves to live much more than that human. That human has fucked the oceans, okay? Swimming in poison at the moment because dickheads like that just go to the pub on the weekend. Go and have a beer. Yeah, go for a surf. You should be fighting for these creatures, you fucking idiot. But I bet you and your girlfriend don't give a fucking shit, eh? You got a nice little fucking 3-bedroom suburban house, hey? Just another parasite. That's all you are. Adding to this. It's disgusting what people have allowed, the attack that they have allowed on creation and allow these people to get away with because they're human and what they somehow some more importance. I mean, no, I do not feel sorry for you, idiot. You should be talking out about sharks and how horrible their environment is and putting something good use left with what's use left of that skin bag of yours, putting it to some use for God's sake instead of running down the shark, calling it the great white menace. You're just disgusting. It's disgusting human. I just can't even stand to look at this dickhead. I'm fucking gonna just turn that off. Then we've got the fucking WA Surf Club. Oh my God, I can't even do this one either. They've actually backed all of the aspects of the shark cult. So all of you people out there, you little nippers out there that go there on a Saturday and a Sunday, okay? Little nippers, this is what you're supporting, okay? This is what your mummy and daddy are supporting. Yeah. Yeah, when they pay your fees, darling, they're supporting the sharks being killed in your ocean, your wildlife, your future. Being culled. But why? Because of what they represent. Powerful power. They don't like that, the Antichrist. No. Let's cull them. And then these local surf clubs. Yeah, we're right behind you. So all you surfers out there, any of you surfers out there listening to this video, you know, please don't dare tell me you're at one with the ocean when you're out there and you're a fucking surfer. And, you know, I could talk like this because I actually grew up around surfers and, you know, I got the culture, you know. Most of the guys, though, that I know would never want to kill the shark. They always used to say, no, if we're out there and get done, you know, that's it. It's like our fault. We're out there in its environment. But now it seems these swami little fucking smarmy humans are starting to change their fucking tune and call themselves surfers. So if you're one of them, okay, if you're one of these smarmy little fucking pieces of shit that just because you can ride a board on a wave think you're a surfer, because I'm seriously telling you, it takes more than just riding a fucking wave, dickhead, to make you a surfer, okay? You got to know how to read the environment in the ocean and understand the animals and the seasons. It takes just more than arriving with your shitty fucking board that you bought at some fucking cheap surf shop to give you some image to pull a few roots. So if that's who you are, then you wouldn't even probably be listening to this video. But if by any chance, for some reason, fate has happened upon that you're listening to this video, you better fucking pull your head in, boy, because your ocean is being fucked up, okay? And you better be speaking out for Huey and his creatures, all right? I know you all love to invoke Huey, you fucking surf god. Don't tell me that you don't, I know. And so don't you dare think that you can surf his waves and not protect his animals, you little swamis. there's any of you out there, and you know who I'm talking about, these little frickin' shits like this, that piece of shit there, okay? Not surfers, because none of the surfers I know would ever partake in this shit. And they would never even visit a fucking club like this. Any of these clubs in Western Australia, if any of you people over in Western Australia ever visit a surf club again, without saying something to anybody, and I don't care who it is, as long as you voice something to someone about your disgust in this, then if you can do that, fuck you. Okay, you deserve what's coming for you. You'll be cold with the tars. But you should be speaking out about this. It's disgusting. You should be saying something to somebody that's a representative of this local surf club association, you know, like I am, basically. And if I was over there and visiting any of these places, which I now would not do, but if for some reason I could not avoid it, I would fucking say something to them, to someone. Because this is sick. Sick to say it's okay to cull our wildlife. Fucking morons. They're already swimming in this soup. Which is what I'm just been talking about. 8 million metric tons of plastic enter the oceans per year. Oh, love that number, 8, once again. Magnitude of plastic waste is just going out of control. Okay, because they're just doing it on purpose. And this is why you need to understand the esoteric information, so you get that. So you get that they're not going to stop. There's no hope for you and your children. Do you not get that? There's no hope for you. Any of you, you've got to wake up. They're fucking this planet on purpose. That's what the information shows. That's what the esoteric information shows. That's why they're psychopaths. And they're getting worse. But that's how we know that they're fucking going to get much worse. And at least we know this information now and can have an understanding, whereas most people are just so ignorant that they think we could continue to do this. What the hell? Humans! I just don't understand that anybody could read this and just continue on life. Or look on your, look at your kids in the face. Fucking hell. 50 years' time, they're not even going to have drinking water with all the gas fracking. People are just so what? I don't get it. Are you that not with it? To not understand that they have no future? Well, yeah, they really do not have a future, okay? The information proves it. So now you have to make good with that and with your God, all right, your creator. That's basically what it comes down to. Make peace with what's approaching and make amends to any shortcomings you've had as a soul during your incarnation here and partaking in creation with your creator, because that's what it comes down to. And so you should be getting fucking mad about this. Okay? Because if you're not divine and you're not getting mad about this, then don't expect to be amongst those that find a path back to their divine nature. Why would you ever think you would be worthy of it? That's what surprises me. So people really need to start finding their voice, because this is getting worse. The attacks on the animals are getting worse. And, really, there needs to be more voices for the animals. And when you have this information and knowledge and you know why they're being targeted, people need to be speaking out for them. People need to be actually defending creation and the creator, because it's being attacked, okay? It's being attacked daily and it's getting worse. And I'm not saying that us speaking out will make a difference on a huge level, but it will make a difference. And it doesn't matter other than to your journey and that you've just actually done what you were here to do as a soul. Okay? Because that's what you signed up for. Alright? Whether you know it or not, before you signed up to come down here, you agreed to be part of creation and partake in the Creator's experience, and do your best to uphold the laws of the, universal nature, the universal laws, and protect that. And that is what a covenant is. And each soul has a covenant. And so, if you're a conscious person watching this video, understanding the esoteric information, then you have a covenant with your Creator to speak out about this shit. Not just me, okay? Not just people, laughing at me, oh, look, Dee's angry again. No, it shouldn't be that way, all right? You should be identifying what I'm identifying and showing you as well. Being angry too. We're all angry together then. Group of us are angry. Wow. Group has a lot more of a influence than just one person, doesn't it? So this is where we have to actually start consciously evolving too. Or we just end up as, a group with knowledge that nobody else has, but that does something with it. And so we're really just moving along with the hive mind and being taken along with the influence of the hive mind. So that's where we have to actually start finding our voice, speaking out about this shit. Because it's not going to stop, it's just getting worse. Every week there's an oil spill, every week there's a pipe that's burst. It's on purpose. Started with the BP oil disaster. It's on purpose. And so people need to understand they're slowly choking her, collapsing the ecosystems. Slowly, like the frog in the boiling pot, the frog doesn't know what's happening. And this is what happens with mankind. They don't know. And a tipping point is approaching. And it's going to get to that tipping point, and then there's going to be mass collapses of huge parts of the environment, okay? And with it, lots of humans. We are nearing that tipping point in a lot of places. I don't think people realise how close it is. They were just recently reporting that California's going to face its worst drought in 1,000 years, okay? And they're to prepare for that. So it's not a good outlook. So people need to understand why that is. There's no use just pretending that it doesn't exist and just flowing along, hoping for the best, okay? It's not going to cut it. And if you are, that's fine. I just don't want to hear about it, and I don't want to hear explanation, okay? Like some other person that wrote to me with a whole big explanation, which I didn't read, to tell me his beliefs. I don't care. I don't care about your beliefs. I found the Philosopher's Stone. It tells me everything I need to know about the laws that govern us. Unless you can show me differently, which you cannot, then really I'm not interested. And people that use the pyramid texts to actually then justify their apathy. No, the pyramid text where it says as you're walking through the halls of Mayat, oh no, this was from the Book of the Dead, and you weren't walking through the halls of Mayat. This is just in relation to this person that is justifying his apathy in the last video I made about the unicorn heads. And so the parable from the Book of the Dead was in the hall of Mayat, and the soul is saying, I have not raised my voice in anger, I have not, and basically relaying what you would not do if you were a good soul, just moving through your incarnations in the collective. And so this is what this soul is doing. What they're basically trying to take that parable and make it mean is that they can just sit there and do nothing, and it means don't fight back evil. So this person believes that we just don't raise our voice about this, just when we get in the hall of Mayat, apparently this person thinks that, okay, say the gods say, and did you speak out about all of the pollution that was going on around the earth with the plastic? And then the soul says, well, I didn't raise my voice in anger. You see how ridiculous it is to try and use these parables out of context? This is what these people do. This is why I use that example, because that's exactly what, using it out of context to cover your weak ass and excuse yourself from speaking out because it's adding to the negativity. It's just hiding in your head and your beliefs, okay? And no, you have no understanding of that parable at all if that is how you are trying to hide behind it, because you will surely fail when you are walking through the halls of Mayat and you are trying to hide behind that, well, I never spoke out about anything and raised my voice in anger, or I never cursed. That is not what it is in relation to, because to those people that try to hide behind speaking out, let's look at the ancient Egyptian scrolls, the Colburn manuscripts, and see what it says. Oh, and it says here that those who do not fight for me. So it seems to me that these people want to ignore the fact that at certain times of the cycle that the Creator's name and everything divine is just trashed in the mud by the swine. Man just falls into unconsciousness that's led around by his sacrum, and people just want to ignore the Creator, ignore anything that's divine, absolutely trash anything that has to do with the Creator's name, to the point that you cannot even speak about the Creator or God without people assuming you're some type of religious person, like a Christian or Islam or one of those brands. You can't just be a philosopher and a seeker, which will bring you to the same conclusions that any of these people that had decided on a brand could have gone and done if they actually set their mind to it, instead of just listening to their priests. But people are just wanting to listen to priests, listen to people with an appearance of knowledge. That's how they've been programmed by the Antichrist. And so now that I've actually found the Philosopher's Stone, people just do not want to acknowledge that that is a fact, because I am not the right person in their belief system that should have this information, because I am not someone that's scholared at Yale and has all these letters after my name, or I am not someone in the right group of people that is, really trendy amongst the New Age researchers out there. No, it happened to be D. Smith, the swearer. But they can't argue with what I've actually found. And so this just goes to show you how people are willing to just move along and go with the program rather than actually acknowledge truth. And I really had no idea it would be this hard to wake people up. When I first found this information, because I just knew exactly what it was and how it all came together and what I'd found, when I finally did release the Philosopher's Stone after I'd done the full series about it, and I was just decoding it as I was doing all the videos, going through just decoding all of the different chakra points and how they were equating to the sacred geometry numbers that are applied to the golden mean, because that's the Fibonacci numbers applied to the golden mean. And so when I got to the very end, I was really ready for everybody to just be mind blown about what I'd found, and there'd be a lot of interest, and I'd have to be really prepared for that. And there wasn't. People just did not want to see what I had found. And then I realized when I actually started looking at more of the information, because at that stage I hadn't actually found the divine race and the divine tribes, but that's when I just, basically realised that that's the way it's meant to be. That not many people find the path, not many people go and seek their crown, which is why there's so few places left on the ark, because so few people seek a place on the ark. They really are happy just to go along with the flow. It's much easier, which is why people who even look at this information and then go, along with their lives as though it matters in, education system, children graduating, and that having any meaning is just really, I find that quite interesting, because if you claim to understand this information and then you are partaking in those events, you are actually partaking in something that is against the Christ light within mankind, because it is the establishment, it is the government, it is the anti-creator, the anti-universal law, it is government law. So yeah, that's why to me, I just cannot even accept anything in this system as real. And anybody that claims to, have an understanding of this information and then put some importance into that, well, really, this is where I can see people that get it or don't get it. You can't fake it with me anymore. I can just see through everything. It's quite hard, actually, to exist like that, because you do become the hermit. But that's okay. I've made peace with that. I've made peace with it being able to ramble off in these videos for an hour and nobody even listening to me, because I really don't care anymore. I'm just biding time till everything plays out. And anyone that's been listening to me for long enough anyway knows what I've been talking about is actually playing out. So, and what I've found can be confirmed. So it's not like I'm just sitting here and relating things that don't actually have any factual basis. Because again, I am just, relating what I'm finding, putting it back together, and people that are not threatened with that are helping me do the same thing. And some people, when they really do have that profound experience like I did, when they realise that, when you open that inner kingdom and you really do have that penny drop, your whole way of looking at everything just absolutely changes. And you don't have to seek acceptance in anybody anymore, because you know what you found, and you know that the reason that you found it was because you were deemed worthy. So if you were deemed worthy to find this knowledge and have an understanding for it, well, it must mean that you are worthy. So really, this is why it's very much worth the seeker trying to attain that understanding and attain that feeling, because it can't be bought and it can't be something that is bestowed by others. It has to be earned through your own journey and through your own challenges and courage. And that's what it comes down to, having courage. But until people get more courage, then the influence you have on your environment is very limited. As I said, you're just floating along down the stream with everybody else, really not making much of an impact at all. Well, I shall leave that there and post those shark articles underneath. And as always, peace out.